Hi everyone. So in this project, I took the role of a data analyst at Netflix. The assigned article discusses Netflix's subscriber loss, slower growth, and increasing competition in early 2022. So since the article was published in April, it made sense for me to analyze trends from the years leading up to that period rather than just focusing only on 2022 itself. So the goal of the project is to really understand whether Netflix's content strategy, specifically the relationship between the content quantity and quality, may help explain part of the slowdown discussed in the article. So instead of focusing on financial metrics, I use data related to the IMDb ratings and release years to really study the audience perception of Netflix content over time. So, according to the article, Netflix experienced its first subscriber loss in more than 10 years. So, several challenges were highlighted, which includes, firstly, it includes the increased competition from streaming platforms such as perhaps Disney Plus and HBO Max, slower subscriber growth, password sharing, reducing paid memberships, and rising subscription prices. So these challenges all raise an important question, an important business question to ask. Could Netflix's content strategy have really contributed to lower engagement leading up to 2022? So in order to translate this into a data problem, I focused really on understanding whether the increase in content volume over time was matched by improvements in content quality. So the objective here was to really explore whether Netflix's expanding content library maintained consistent audience quality over time. So the main stakeholders for this analysis includes the Netflix executives, the content strategy the teams, marketing teams, as well as investors. So to address this problem, I used the Netflix and IMDb related dataset as previously mentioned from Kaggle, which is a public website with many different datasets, real datasets. So this data set contains over 5,000 rows, titles, and includes variables such as you can see here, like the title of the movie, whether it's a movie or a show, the release year, the IMDb score, the runtime, etc. So I thought that this was relevant because IMDb scores really reflect audience ratings and can act, as a source of measure of perceived quality. And release years allows us to analyze changes over time and identify patterns leading up to 2022. So before beginning the analysis, I decided to clean and prepare the data set to really improve the reliability and just the overall cleanliness of this. So I first started reviewing the data types using the .info function to really confirm that variables were correctly formatted. Then I checked the number of rows and columns just to understand the structure. I later analyzed the distribution of the IMDb votes using summary statistics, such as the mean, the median, and the frequency counts to really identify the skewness and determine an appropriate filtering threshold. So when I saw, for instance, the value counts function here, the frequency, we could see that there are like 11 cases where like the votes are like 43, which doesn't really show much reliability since 43 votes is a very low number. So in order to ensure that reliability of the ratings, I kept only titles with more than 1,000 IMDb votes, which then reduces the influence of titles with very few reviews. So I did that using this line of code, which, as I previously mentioned, kept only the titles with more than 1,000 votes. So then I checked for missing values. Then age certification column contained a lot of null values, as you can see here, with 1,185 null values. So I decided to drop that column. It didn't make much sense to keep it as it wasn't really central to the business problem, and with that column having many null values. And so I decided then, in addition um, to the that column, I decided to remove columns such as the index, the ID, the description, different columns that were not necessary to our analysis. So these steps overall really helped us, create a much cleaner data set, to really focus on release year, audience ratings, and just overall cleanliness. So moving down, so after cleaning the data set, I then performed the EDA or the exploratory data analysis. So from the very first graph here, it shows the number of titles by release year. The results show that there is a very strong growth in content volume, especially after 2010. This just shows that Netflix significantly expanded its library over time. Moving down, we examined the average IMDb score over time. So, unlike the title growth, the average ratings remained, I would say, pretty stable or maybe even slightly declined in more recent years. This shows that the content quality increased faster than audience rated quality. So moving down, I wanted to show the overall distribution of ratings. So as you can see, most titles fall between IMDb scores of 6 and 8. So this really indicates that much of Netflix's catalog is moderately rated and rather than like extremely high rated. So for our fourth graph, in order to reduce yearly fluctuations, I use just a rolling average. It just provides just a more smoother graph. Like the smooth trend confirms a rather gradual decline in average ratings over time. So this makes the long-term pattern easier to interpret. And lastly, yeah, so for this graph, I decided to focus on the years leading up to 2022, but from a 2010 to 2021 perspective. So as you can see, the average IMDb scores show indeed a slight downward trend because of so this just shows that although Netflix released more content, the audience quality did not improve. Because of the article discusses early 2022, it made sense to analyze years before that period, which would provide us useful context. And so, just to really summarize everything, here are several business insights, which include firstly, that Netflix significantly increased the number of releases over time, which really reflects a strong expansion strategy. So our second one is that, despite more releases, the average IMDb ratings remain stable or even slightly declined. Thirdly, most titles fall within the moderate rating ranges. And fourth, the trends leading up to 2022 really show that content quality may not have increased alongside content volume. So, based on our findings, I would say a few recommendations could be, for instance, prioritizing, higher quality productions instead of maximizing the quantity, investing more selectively in genres or what people really enjoy watching, categories that receive stronger audience ratings, and really, using the audience feedback and ratings to guide future content investments. So I think that this project overall just really showed us the translation of a real world Netflix business challenge into here a proper data driven analysis. So we used the IMDb and Netflix related data in order to explore how content quality and audience ratings change over time. So this may provide insight into one possible reason, behind the slower subscriber growth leading up to 2022. Obviously, there might be other factors such as, the churn rates, pricing strategies, password sharing, other, source of competitions and changing consumer behavior, that might also contribute to Netflix's challenges up to early 2022. That would be it for our analysis for this project. Thank you.